Good day, all you sports tech enthusiasts out there. I'm wondering why you cannot see me. That is a bit odd. I don't know. Can you see me? Ah, there we go. What a start. Big confusion here. Sorry about that. In case you didn't see and or hear me, the software didn't show me properly. Yeah, first of all, as you can see, it is just me, even though last week I told you that Ron would be back. The good thing, though, is he will be back in a few minutes. That poor guy is traveling all over Europe in the spirit and mission of sports technology. And his flight, unfortunately, was delayed. I think he was on his way to Italy. He's going to talk to us about this in a couple minutes. Flight was late. He'll be here in, I don't know, max 10 minutes, I would say, but no guarantee because, as you know, sometimes hotel Wi-Fi's or wherever he is at, maybe the cafe, I don't know, can be tricky. Long story short, it's going to be Ron and me. For now, you have to be okay with just me. But that doesn't stop us from diving into the sports tech news of the week. We skipped the intro of, I don't know, Ron and I chit-chatting, asking each other how the week was and if there's anything special. Maybe we'll add that later. And I would suggest that we dive right into the news. And as always, I would like to invite you to ask questions if you have some. All right. As usual, we start with the top funding rounds of the week. And the biggest one, and you can already see that in the captions down there, and there were not too many big ones in the past week. The biggest one was from Gym Class VR for $9 million US. However, the news is quite interesting, even though the amount is not as big as some of the others that we've been talking about, because of a few things. First of all, they say it's a gym class. Actually, it's a sports game. As you can see, it's a basketball game. And it's available on the MetaQuest store. So Facebook, aka Meta, is involved, and it's actually a VR game. And before we dive into what it looks like, it's worth looking at who invested. And you see a few familiar people here. There is GSW Sports Ventures, so the Golden State Warriors are involved. Their former player, Zaza Pachulia, is an investor. Durant's business partner, Rich Kleiman, is there, and a bunch of other guys. Oh, there's Ron already. Wow, that was quick.
Buongiorno, Benjamin.
Buongiorno, come stai?
No, fucking, that's French. Sorry.
And there goes our rating.
Yeah, all our commercials on YouTube. Damn it. Actually, maybe that also is bad. No, sorry for the delay, guys. I'm guessing Ben updated you. No, I wasn't doing whatever he said I was doing. I was just late. My flight was late.
That's what I actually said. Sometimes I can be trustworthy. Yeah, I'd say I just finished the first one because I did a little monologue at the beginning to kill some time. So you can jump in from the second one onwards. Yeah, I just want to, and we can do the chit chat in between. Yeah, I just want to mention that, besides the Warriors, there are a bunch of NBA stars, namely Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala, Lonzo Ball, Danny Green. They're all invested in this new game. And I think it's worth having a look at what the game actually looks and feels like. So let's go to their website. And as we've got time and Ron needs to prepare his stuff, we can enjoy that little video here a bit. Not going to maximize it. But the story basically is a bunch of people, as you can see, they are in different places of the world. I think one person was in Rio, the other one I'm not sure. And they play a game of basketball, one-on-one against each other with their Oculus. And as you might also see, and I'm going to ask you about this one in a sec, I wouldn't say it looks so great. I mean, there are certain tricky parts of having a live VR experience against someone. I understand that, but it always feels a bit like we're back in the, I don't know, late '90s, early 2000s, like a game engine wise and graphics wise. And what you can also see, I think they're already in that part here, that you can even play 2 against 2. And I'm not sure if they also have the option for 3 against 3, but yeah, you can play against your friends without leaving your home. It's a proper workout, as they say. And yeah, that's why all those famous people and the Warriors have invested in gym class VR. So, handing it over to you right there. Just a quick, quick feedback. What do you think about it?
I mean, obviously, it's pretty A-list, the names that are on their cap table. So they come with a lot of credibility. The app itself, as you said, looks, I mean, it's not super unique. It's a game. Nothing so special. I mean, obviously, with VR elements coming in, yeah, I'm just more curious. It's one of those that I feel like you have to actually experience it to review it. Like it could be an average game where you don't really feel like it's actually going so well. But if the game itself is good and you feel like you're in there properly, the graphics are actually rendered well, and the user experience is good, then I think it'll affect my rating. For now, I think it's interesting, something to be checked out.
Cool. Then take it over.
Okay, I'm going to do the other story. Up, we have an Indian company, 4 million. Yes, you can see money does grow on trees, under trees. I think this is the weird thing about this image. I think it's showing money growing under trees, which
It's
I don't
not
quite
even
understand.
it's not even a tree, man.
But yeah, they call it a tree man. Yeah, tree mountain, a tree hill.
No, I said it's not even a tree, man. It's just a plant.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on, Ben. But it's going to grow into one. So someday, maybe.
Potentially. Yeah.
No, it is a plant. Okay, we'll move past the bad jokes. Fitbudd is a fitness platform that has raised a decent chunk of change from pretty good names from the industry. Axel, Sequoia Capital, Waveform, and BNext are some other local investors. What are they actually? Basically, they're a B2B service provider, which is the interesting. I think we've seen this trend. I think from maybe about a month ago, we saw this spurt of B2B fitness plays getting a lot of attention. So yeah, this is now coming into the Indian space. So they offer a CRM, they offer software payments. So this is for gyms and for, let's say, fitness centers to manage their customers in a better way. They have hundreds of coaches and obviously are in 20 countries, but majority of that is based in India. Majority of the clientele is based in India. Then there's lots of stats on why this market is interesting, but we don't need to go into that. Point being, there's the B2B based fitness play in India that has raised a good bit of money. And I'll comment to the last one in terms of fitness funding stories. Fantium. Ben, are we tired of talking about NFTs? Are we ever tired of talking about NFTs?
We're not. Maybe that specific one.
Maybe that specific
The
one.
story behind it is so. Yeah, it has been used multiple times.
Yeah. Okay. No, but I'm curious. What is the story behind this one? Does he have something special for Fantium?
No, I mean, getting a share in an athlete's career. That story has been told multiple times, and tying it to an NFT brings up some regulatory challenges. But yeah, I mean, it does make sense just from the approach itself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was asking the company specifically, but you're right. I mean, this type of let's say deal we've seen a lot, especially in the US with NIL, and there's so much focus on the collegiate market there. This some pretty significant German backing. Obviously, team is there. The CEO of OneFootball, Lucas von Kranak. Did I say that name right?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That was pretty good. Thanks, Ben. the company itself is also from the DACH region. That's a Swiss company. And yeah, it's exactly what Ben said. You can buy an NFT to support an athlete and get a share of their prize money over, or basically as a sponsor, but you're also getting some sort of equity into that athlete. So it's like a crowdfunding for athletes, but using NFTs. The amount entitled to receive is dedicated by the athlete. This is one thing that I actually liked about this use case. They're trying to give the athletes a bit more control into how that money gets returned to the investors. But I guess that's also part of the contract. I would have to see more details. But yeah, overall, more NFTs supporting athletes for 2 million for Fantium. Ben?
Not too much. When just one thing to Fitbudd, what I liked about them is that you as a coach can also put on your own app to the App Store with your own logo and look and feel and all of that. There was just a little detail that I liked. Not sure if I've seen it before, but yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, white label solution. That's a fair point.
Yeah. Then on to the next one, and that's one I actually find very interesting, and I'm curious about your opinion. So this is not a specific solution. It's different kinds of technologies that we know for quite a while, at least most of them. And the way it's used is the interesting one. And if you have read the headline, you know what's going to come. But basically, the San Diego Padres, they are using certain technologies. Here they call them geofencing technologies, to prevent certain types of fans to buy their tickets. They call it location-based buying restrictions. And the big goal is that they really use their, let's say, their home court advantage, making sure that as many fans of their own team go to the stadium and not too many fans from the opponents. And they have already used this approach, and in a second I'm going to tell you how it worked exactly. But the outcome is outstanding in my opinion, and these numbers here are very impressive. So they played the Dodgers, the LA Dodgers, and as you know, San Diego and LA is not too far apart from each other. So what happened in the past, a lot of LA fans would come to San Diego. It's nice to visit that town, and as they said, typically it is at least 60% LA fans in the San Diego Padres Stadium. So the away team actually has more fans in the stadium than the home team, and of course that is something you don't like. And by using those technologies, they turned it more than around. It was an estimated 90% of San Diego fans compared to on average 40%. So that is amazing. And the question is, how did they do this? They use those so-called geofencing technologies, and they mentioned a few. I think IP address was one thing. So they're checking where you actually dial into the internet, let's put it this way. And they also used your credit card information. So they actually saw from where you were buying the ticket. And I think good old address data or something like this was the other one. So using a bunch of different ways of making sure that San Diego-based fans would buy the tickets. Of course, there are also some LA fans in San Diego, but you cannot really get rid of that part. And last but not least, they also gave a little outlook of what they could also do in the future. And I've seen that this year at an event where I've been. It's a new platform by Ticketmaster that is utilizing so-called safe ticks. And safe ticks are tickets which QR code would change every couple seconds. So you don't have a chance to send it to someone or sell it to someone. You actually have to have the original ticket. And if you are not allowed to transfer it, or as they say, they only allowed it 2 days before the game, that restricts the secondary market activities where sometimes away fans can get a lot of tickets. Long story short, the Padres are doing this. It seems to be really successful. And as they said, a bunch of other teams are looking into this approach. Okay, this was a long monologue, but first of all, it is a problem that I didn't really know would exist. That is the first thing. And I think it's a clever usage. But asking you, what's your opinion? And do you find anything weird or strange about it? Because somehow that feeling popped up inside of me.
I agree with your first take. It was not a problem that I knew needed to be solved, but I found the use case of how they solved the problem super interesting. Yeah, the first time I read it, I have to say my initial reaction was, that's a bit weird to restrict who can come to my stadium. But I guess the underlying assumption is, as a sports team, if my fans can't come to the stadium, and if there is a demand for my fans who are trying to come to the stadium, but they cannot for some reason, which is, I guess, the base premise, then that is a problem worth solving. And I think the article goes on to mention something about the picture saying, oh, this is the most amazing experience, like fan atmosphere that was there in the stadium. So the output was also positive. So that makes me think that there is definitely something here. Um, can there be negative usage of it? Yeah, of course they can. But I think the more, for me, there aren't too many cases. Like I was thinking, the straight away in Europe, you don't have it too much because usually a lot of teams share stadiums, so the games are divided. Like Milan, for the classic example, where you know which are the Inter home games and Milan home games. But maybe there would be a use case to use something like this. I don't know. But this unique case of my home game has more fans of the other team, that's a weird problem. I would never have thought of it that way. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit. I just found the use case super interesting. I found the use of technology a good one. As you said, they're using pretty traditional methods, your credit card, your IP address. But if the output is good, then I think it's a super valuable use case. Quickly on
He's
the other one, the safe tickets one, that I found also quite. I mean, I think there will be challenges with that one, but I understand the problem that they're trying to solve over there as well.
Yeah, the safe ticks, I like that one because I'm convinced of the technology. But using IP, your IP data and your credit card, that's a bit odd. And it also means that if you're, let's say, a Padres fan in living somewhere else in LA or San Francisco, you cannot get tickets. So I think, or my hypothesis is, that problem is anyways going to be solved once teams have a proper fan management system and where they know who their fans are and who can buy a ticket from them. So maybe that is the actual issue. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, also with IP address, it's so easy to mask. Everybody has a VPN. That's no brainer. Credit card also, yeah. I mean, it's not impossible. You can create virtual cards. There are so many ways to go around those hacks. But like I said, I mean, maybe this is just a PR piece or something. But from the article, it sounded like the output was good.
Yeah.
If they actually got more of their fans in the stadium who created a better atmosphere, then what they did had a positive result. That's the one thing I cannot argue with.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
potentially discriminating fans who live outside of San Diego. That's my
And
weird feeling.
and I think it's one of those, like, yeah, it's a solution which is not a perfect solution,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
and it's a solution that inherently has gaps. But if it's a better than what we have, then I would one step further. And then how can we make this geofencing smarter? And as you said, maybe getting everybody involved in the fan base, getting verified fans, so you can apply for tickets that way rather than just checking through your IP. That's a better position to get to. So it's almost like saying, hey, everybody who doesn't live here, get into our database. So it's almost like
Yeah. Fair.
a roundabout way of enhancing your CRM, which is also smart. It's not
Yeah.
a bad way to go either.
Very interesting story. Basically out of nowhere. That's why we like it so much, I guess.
The most interesting one that I actually, sorry, just last one, was that I saw the article said the first instance of this was January last year, right? I
Oh, I
think
didn't. I overread that one.
it
I think.
was I forget which team, but somewhere it said January. It's the first team to pilot this, but didn't do it much. So it's happened like once or twice, but not so much. And I think this is the first time that maybe there's been a big PR piece around it. So that was also interesting to see that this has been around, but now we may be seeing the next use case of it.
Speaking about big PR thing.
Speaking about big PR thing for something that's been around, I was building the segue. Something that's been around forever, but now we're seeing maybe it's actually going to result in something. Yeah, no, I mean, this is sorry, wrong window. Where am I? Yeah, this is the Meta story. You might have seen it already. It's been all over social media. Meta signed Liverpool FC as their first digital avatar partner for sports teams, like the Spurs sports team, where if you are in Meta's Horizon Worlds virtual world, you can buy merchandise from Liverpool. The actual story, so this is the official Facebook story. It's about earlier this week. You can now outfit your avatar Liverpool kit. There is not much that goes on to here. The merchandise is available. I checked, Ben. I don't know if you saw it. How much is the merchandise for? Did you see the price that it's being sold?
No, I've quickly read the article, didn't see it there, and then I was like, Ron is going to talk about it. I'm just going to check it out.
Sorry, I know. I should have done my research a bit better, but like, in the air on a delayed flight, of course. No, but so it's available for purchase only for Liverpool. This article I felt did a better job of at least getting some quotes, getting some context. So this is their first metaverse collaboration with the football team. There are other teams that have launched digital merchandise. Also, this was the other bit. I don't know if you saw this video about Mark Zuckerberg getting excited about their avatars having legs, which was quite. It was quite weird. He was getting super excited.
It was odd in the first place that I didn't have any legs. So come on.
Yeah.
We're in 2022.
Is it really that hard? Yeah, exactly. It's really that hard to get legs, and you're like, oh, we have legs now. Okay, cheers. Yeah, maybe this is only something that you're happy about. But yeah, Liverpool fans will be able to customize their merchandise and they can mess around with it. And there are some quotes here. We're excited to be the first Premier League club to own Meta avatars. Fantastic opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Connect with their 70 million fans. I mean, this is pretty boilerplate, as you said, PR piece. The interesting thing is that has done a couple of NFT actually went pretty badly for them a few months ago that they think recalled. They've had a couple of athletes as well, and Andrew Robertson launched his own NFTs, who's the Liverpool left back, but he had to pull it back and change all the images because he had launched it with his Liverpool jersey, and then he had to do it without any Liverpool logo anywhere. Michael Owen, a famous Liverpool star, launched an NFT platform, NFT drop, where the price would never change, he said, and was basically illegal, so he had to withdraw. So it's one of those cases where you've seen a lot of Liverpool Web3 use cases gone south. I wonder if this one will be received well or not.
Typically, I would comment on this, but I think you've said everything that is needed. And before we go on with the next meta news, I think now is the time to do the little catch up that we typically do at the beginning of the show. Because now that you spoke about Liverpool, I just wanted to get your opinion on the current Man United team, because I heard yesterday that they've played really well as a team, and the whole Cristiano topic aside, it seems like they're finding themselves. Can you confirm that? Because I didn't see the game.
The reason I threw up my hands and put my hands in my head was because I missed that match.
Oh,
because I was on a flight. Yeah, I was on a flight. I was flying into Barcelona last night and today to Turin, so I couldn't watch the game. But I woke up to I want to read a couple of quotes which I was absolutely on fire. Like my phone was exploding. All the boys were happy, but two things that Conte said post match. His quote was, "We have to be honest. United decided to win."
Ooh.
That's it. Eric Ten Hag, post-match, said, "I will not say I am totally satisfied. Good is not good enough. That has to be the standard." Now, what was the standard? United had 19 shots in the first 45 minutes, the most by any Premier League side, 14 from outside the box, blah, blah, blah. The most by the most since Opta were keeping the stats since 2003. By the end of the game, they had 28 shots, more than any Premier League team this season. This was against Tottenham, who were in form, who were third in the league. And by all accounts, like I said, my phone is blowing up. The team was on fire, like just completely steamrolled Tottenham. So best performance of the season. I missed it. I will rewatch the game. But quickly on the Ronaldo case, and then we'll jump off it. Ten Hag made a statement by dropping Ronaldo. That was clear. Yeah. The Newcastle game, when he came off, United finished 0-0. But the two best chances of the game, both Rashford missed, but the two best chances of the game came when Ronaldo came off and Rashford came on. Ronaldo came off shaking his head, super disappointed. Ten Hag said, off you go, on the bench. And I think normally he would have brought him on, for 10, 20 minutes. But because of Ronaldo's reaction, he didn't even come on. And now Ronaldo, trying to do some power play, walks off before the final whistle. I think all Ronaldo's doing is losing credibility with fans, because he has a lot of love. We have a lot of love for him, but it is being tarnished. That love is reducing, because nobody can deny that has been the best Man United performance for probably 2 years. He was not part of it, and the decline has happened since he's come, and now he's like a little kid throwing his toys out of the pram, and it looks like that. I think terrible for Ronaldo and amazing for United.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an excited Man United fan. I'm happy to hear and see. Secondly, it's purely a selfish play. He realizes that he's actually not needed that much anymore, and for sure he's preparing his January exit after the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely, no question.
All right,
let him carry on. Liverpool also in a good vein of form. Great result against City. They won against last night. Yeah. So coming back to Liverpool and Meta, and take us to Meta, who actually have another interesting bit of news.
Yeah, exactly. So back to VR. We started with VR with gym class. Also Meta. There's lots of Meta today. Three news actually, and this time it's about a collaboration with the UFC that already kicked off, I think, a couple of days ago. And what they're offering is that you can actually watch live footage from UFC fights through your Oculus with, as they say, a 180-degree view. That's pretty much what the article said. The only other interesting thing is that good old YBVR is the company behind it. I think definitely Spain-based. I'm not sure if it was Barcelona or Madrid. Maybe they have a US office as well, but I think they're coming out of Spain, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know the city? Probably doesn't matter, but if you have it ready, do you remember that? He's not even listening. Does he hear me?
No, I lost you. I'm not sure if they're based, but yeah, I think they're Barcelona-based.
Yeah,
I'm checking.
And then I tried to find footage from the first fight that they were showing, and I found one video on YouTube which has 66 views, so don't expect too much. And I will turn off the sound immediately once it goes off. You can check it out here. Oh, the sound is already off. So as you can see, there's this person with those two hands here, and the person can see the fight like they would be standing right next to the cage. They have a really good view. I don't know why they put in the little hands there. I don't know, maybe you can do some gestures. But yeah, they have a pretty good view, and have no idea what they charge, if this is going to be a mainstream thing or if it's just the first experiment. But I think it looked kind of cool to watch the fight from there. Not sure if that's true if they're at the other side of the cage, but I think it's a good first shot, I would say. What's your take? I mean, you've seen it with the NBA before. They're trying it for years. Are they finally pushing it to mainstream, or what is going to happen?
Two things. So YBVR officially is San Jose based, but their offices are in Madrid in Spain. So that's a bit of sanity check. Number two, I was actually funnily on a panel just this morning with somebody from the EuroLeague, the innovation manager from the EuroLeague, who, if you remember, used YBVR to do last year's Final Four, which was broadcast live in the metaverse environment, which I think both of us signed up for, but then we never actually went into the virtual world because our missing Oculus device is still missing. But anyway, so I was having a chat with Mark, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it was a really good experiment for us. We're not sure whether we'll do it again, but it went off well." So we had a brief conversation around this topic, just to bring that home. The actual use case itself, two things. I like the UFC they've just generally been quite daring. They were the first sports league back during the pandemic. They've previously been open to innovation in formats. They're really literally a fighting league that they're trying to they always try new things and trying to break out into a mainstream. I think the UFC is the kind of place that these experiments should be happening, because that experience of actually fighting and being there, and I would think that is super interesting. I like the use case. I like the experiment. From Meta's side, I mean, it's just a case of, is the technology there to support it? I mean, again, it sounds super interesting, like the gym buddy story, gym class story at the top of the show. You have to see it, and if you feel good in that environment, then that's when you can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. The story itself, yeah, it sounds super interesting, worth an experiment, but is it a good execution? Because I think that's what this play is going to be about, execution. So that's up to Meta now, whether they can deliver.
Yep, and I think it's also a good sport to test it. Also, the complexity is lower than, let's say, with football or something.
Yeah, exactly. Fixed arena, you can get in there a bit more. All right. Last story of the week, and there has been some big news with new funds. We'll start with the better in the circuits, but lesser known in this. Will Ventures closed their second fund. Their first fund was around 50 million. Will Ventures is a well-known sports tech investor. They've been around for I think at least about 5 or 6 years. Their second fund is 150 million. So if anybody just wants to use that as a rule of thumb about how sports tech funds are going, if the first fund is performing well enough, only then will investors come back, and will they be back more? Simple hypothesis, and that's a strong endorsement, shall we say, of the indicates they're going to be bullish. The article itself doesn't need too much further explanation. The guy Isaiah and Brian, who Ben, I mean, I don't know super well. We've been in somewhat touch. We've had them in our, but yeah, I can't say that I know them super well or anything. But they seem like good guys. They're always they've always done interesting things, and I remember them being a partner for the NFL with their innovation stuff very early. But yeah, Will Ventures is a good fund. 55 million was the first fund, and now they've got 150 million for the second fund. The rest of the article we'll leave there as it is, because the other big story is a story that, well, Ben, I think we knew. I don't want to say too much, and I won't say anything about how we knew or what we knew. For a long time. But I think that long was also probably pandemic-induced delays and things like that. But yeah, we knew this was coming. I will not share more details on that. But so soccer legend Leo Messi, is setting up a fund of his own called PlayTime, which is a partnership between him and Silicon Valley executives Razmig Hovahimian. I hope I haven't said that name horribly. And Michelle Marquez. Yeah, so the fund is going to be based out of San Francisco, and Messi Group and PlayTime will be the holding company. So Messi is investing in, let's say, sports tech startups himself. What type of startups? They've already got 2 deals. Well, first of all, they're super interested in football tech. No doubts, no questions about that. So that's the first area that they're looking at. They have already made 2 deals. One is a game studio, which is still in stealth mode, called Matchday, which will build games for football fans. And the other is a AC Memento, which auctions match-worn football shirts sourced from clubs and players. It's, again, a memorabilia play, which I totally see the use case for. Again, very easy to extend that into a Web3 use case. So you have an NFT, the physical jersey is stored somewhere, or you have access to both, whatever the case may be. Razmig himself has a background, in media. He's done bunch of different things, and there are some quotes from him which follow. But big news, 2 big funds. I don't know which is the bigger news. Fund which was an existing fund which doubled in size, or Leo Messi has put his name behind SportsTech. Which one do you find more interesting?
Actually, the first one. I mean, the big guys in football, they give their names for a bunch of things, a lot of things actually these days. So a sports tech fund tripling their investment amount in tricky times. That's the real story, in my opinion.
I agree. The fact that they've managed to close this fundraise, and because let's put it another way. I actually have another piece of interesting news that I got. I actually forgot to share with you, but I will not name the football club, but a very, very big Spanish football club is also apparently coming up with a fund. We heard FC Barcelona, so I'll leave it to your imagination to guess what the team I'm talking about is. But we heard FC Barcelona announced a big fund. I think it was 3 years ago, $100 million fund, which nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. So there are a lot of fund announcements that we have had. Again, other names we won't take on the show, where you don't know whether this is actually real or this is a piece of PR. With these guys, I would say I have some confidence that this is not just an announcement, that there actually is some money. But Ben is still laughing. I don't know why he's still laughing.
I can tell you why. You, my friend, are in talking mood today. It's just la 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 la.
Yeah.
We're
I think it's
36 minutes in. It's because you're surrounded by so many people. Maybe because you're in Italia. I don't know. But
maybe it's a lack of sleep. Maybe it's all the delayed flights. I don't know. Sorry.
I mean, it's interesting. I like to listen to you, but I'm just realizing it. And I've seen that you put in some little extra piece here, which we definitely have to talk about, no matter if we're 36 minutes in or not, because that's something that goes deep into our hearts, I would say.
Take it away, my friend. This is all for you.
I didn't even read
you didn't? Okay.
I thought you would do it. Sorry.
Then I'm going to pull it up quickly. Give me a second. But basically, any chat for any listeners of the show. Yeah, I didn't realize that we've actually been on for 37 minutes. But
maybe it's because you joined late.
Join. Sorry, what?
Say it again. No, I said it's because you joined late. Maybe that it doesn't feel so long.
Yeah, maybe that also. Yeah, but it's not loading now. Yeah, but anyway, so there's a bit of horse tech, which we always have to talk about. There you go. Immersive AR horse race tech. Basically, it's to enhance your track day experience. So you can, the story short, while the horses are running around this big track, you can take out your mobile phone. There's AR on the phone, which is basically highlighting some stats, the live betting odds. You can see on your phone, which is apparently a big problem within horse racing, that which horse is actually where, because the commentator has a better view and he knows the colors and stuff. Maybe you don't actually know all the details about who's doing what. So on the AR on your phone screen, you can get all these details. You can get live betting odds. You can do a bunch of stuff. So some interesting horse racing tech, which is by this company called Immersive. And they were, what else is there in the story? Anything that I missed? It's difficult to follow. The commentator is important. And you can identify horses. This is built on 5G, and there are a lot of 3D animation and good stuff that you can build on top of that. I think also the point is that this is another good way to enhance the experience for people who are visiting arenas rather than just people watching at home. Horse tech always gets
horse tech. First of all, amazing product. I never watched a horse race on my mobile phone. I would love to try. If you scroll down a little bit so that we see all the names of the horses, because that's one thing that fascinates me about the sport is also the choice of names. So just asking you out of those, which one would you bet on?
I have to go Morning Stardust for sure.
I find Rumbling Thunder pretty impressive just by name, but I wonder what the French check is about.
French, yeah.
So it's a bit mysterious.
French check, French cheek. That could be interesting. Morning Stardust. You got to have some morning glory. Always.
I go with number 8. Maybe we can look it up who actually won the race. All right. That's 40 minutes, 10 more that we usually want to speak, but we had an extra news. One was joining a bit later, and he's in talking mode, so excuse us for talking a bit longer, but I think it was absolutely worth it.
All right. That's a good thing I'm in talking mode, because I now have a podcast to record as well. So it'll continue.
Oh, wow. All right. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Cheers.